Welcoming you to the Leela Podcast, a place where you can discover all things Osho Leela. You'll get to meet the community, learn about community life, and listen in as we share about our upcoming events and workshops from the perspective of the facilitators and the attendees, supporting you to find your way to Leela. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Leela Podcast. And today we have the delightful and lovely Cressida. This is Cressida.
Hello.
A little bit about Cressida before we start. So Cressida is a lady who has found Leela. She found Leela in 2022. She came here on Speak My Truth and one of our workshops that we run here. And since then she has come back again and again and again. And she is one of our family. She comes back. She came to Buddhafield with us this year. So she's been camping with us. She's been on so many of the workshops. We'll talk about it in a while. A little bit about Cressida as well. She is she works with people with autism, learning disabilities, people with brain damage, and she has been on quite a journey. And she was telling me earlier, she started her spiritual journey when she was 19, has returned back to it, 2010, I think he said. And yeah, since then has been exploring, and I'm going to ask you loads of questions now so you can tell me even more about you. But it's a delight to have you here. Nice. We bonded through doing some of the workshops together. We did the Leela Life Training together. And you came onto our women's retreat as well back in June, I think it was. And it's just been a delight to get to know you, and you feel like a sister, and it's lovely to have you here. So welcome. Thank you. Welcome. First of all, I guess let's start at the beginning. So how did you find Leela? What was because I'm always really curious about this piece.
So I'd heard of it. I'd heard the name Osho Leela.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a weird one because I'd been in a short relationship. It ended on the Sunday. I went, right, I need to go somewhere. I need to go on a retreat. I need to get out of this headspace. Booked Leela on the Wednesday. And I've never been here, obviously. I was here on the Friday. Walked in the big red door thinking, what am I doing? And was met by someone who'd been here for years. So the lovely Annie was the first person I met and was just welcomed from the moment I came in. And then just threw myself into this workshop with these amazing people. And I can remember sitting at the end of that workshop and Sanjula saying, everybody share. And I just said, I found my tribe. I found my tribe.
Beautiful.
It was amazing.
I love it that you met Annie as you come through the door. If you don't know Annie is a big lover of Leela. She comes back and back again, and she's the best greeter. She sometimes doesn't remember your name, but she's just so welcoming, isn't she?
It's amazing.
She's a real darling.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely that you had her. It was your first hug, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, and all these people were hugging, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is amazing, It's
a
bit weird when you first come in and everybody's greeting with hugs, but now,
it's just
just lovely. I'm here for my hugs.
Yeah, totally. It's one of the main medicines of Leela, really, isn't it? And we haven't really talked about hugging on the podcast yet, so can we just go into that a little bit? Because when we hug in the outside world, it's very much, a little short and sweet, or a little pat on the back, or like a kind of reluctance. And here it's such a big thing because we hug and we breathe together, and it's so nourishing. And I know there's some, it's 20 seconds, and you get a beautiful release of all the happy hormones in the body. So we breathe at least kind of 4 or 5 breaths together. It is healing. It's literally medicine that we're receiving.
It is.
It's the way we start our day, whether it's an event or just in the community. It's a beautiful way.
And saying goodbye at Leela takes hours. Because you're hugging everybody as you go, and as you say, 20 seconds, and more often than not, it's longer than that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you can really feel each other, can't you? So, yeah. So if you're hugging a verse, it's something that happens here a lot.
Yeah, or come here and learn to hug.
Come and learn, and it's very healing. So, yay. Lovely. And I'm just going back a little bit. So, how did you actually find Leela? Was it like
I just heard of it
through
people,
word of mouth?
Yeah, word of mouth,
Yeah,
and just it was in the background there. So I'd done quite a lot of Vipassana and stuff like that in the years preceding, and that's a good. It's okay, but you're very much in your own head. And I think one of the challenges I had was, after my marriage broke up, is that relating again. And I just threw myself into work and did Vipassanas for my peace of mind, that sort of thing. And this is a people thing. This is all about connection, which was very different for me. But I felt, this is the place.
This is the place. Lovely. Great. And I'm always interested, right? Is it word of mouth, or like because for me it was word of mouth. I was at Buddha Field Festival. Somebody told me about one of the programs, the community support. I was like, wow, that sounds great. I'm up for that. So yay! Lovely that you found your way here then.
Yes, definitely.
Great. Tell me a bit about your journey. So I know I'm always interested as well, because we all have our unique paths and ways. You know, Leela is a medicine, and also we come from other. So you've already mentioned Vipassana. I know you've also had an experience with Ayahuasca, going out to South America and drinking medicine. And if you don't know what Ayahuasca is, it's derived from the trees in South America, and it's used by the shamans and tribes, and it's hallucinogenic, and it's
connection to the spirit.
Spirit. It's a plant medicine. It's beautiful and also deep, and can be a real challenging medicine as well. And I know that you've told me a little bit about your experience, because we're kind of connected with that. So could you talk a bit about the journey to Leela in that sense?
So I think with the Ayahuasca, so it was part of my journey, as I said, so 2010 was a turning point. I thought I need to get back on my spiritual path, the one that I was on when I was 19. It was sort of been a big gap. And I thought one of the things I'd always wanted to do was Ayahuasca. I'd read stuff, I'd seen stuff about it probably 20 years ago, and thought, there's something I want to do. So I was fortunate enough to be able to have the money at the time to go out into Peru, work with the shamans out there, and it's quite dark. Ayahuasca doesn't mince her words. I think it's probably the best way to explain it. She'll face you with your truth. And one of the things that the medicine said to me is, no more pain. Enough. You've done enough. Whatever has gone on in life, no more. And I said to her, what's the answer? But she didn't give me the answer. But I realise now, having been to Osho Leela literally 2 months before, I came twice, that was the answer. And I basically came out and signed up for the life training. And that was the journey.
So no more pain.
No more pain.
And how did that feel like in your body?
It was a relief.
Decision point, right?
It was like that thing. Okay, I'm now aware, and it was that thing of it's dictated so much of the way you behave. And I was saying, so how do I undo all those behaviours that have come about from past trauma, stuff that I thought I'd healed, all that sort of thing. So it was like, how do I undo those behaviour patterns? So the things like being really shy, no self-confidence, low self-esteem, finding it really difficult to connect with other people very on an intimate level. I don't mean sexual, but that intimacy. And it was just amazing, because that's what the life training's done. It's that the journey takes you through all of that, and I was thinking the other day, I'm completely different to how I was a year ago, and it's literally only been a year since I've been doing the Leela work. So.
Wow. Beautiful. And it's really, I think we talked in another podcast about this, like it's when you get a message and you hear a message and then you take action on it. And it's this piece, isn't it, of like, when you know what it is you need, you know that it's going to be challenging to go in and do the work, but you're at that point where you've heard it loud enough to then go and
and it's you only get one life on this planet, this life, and to live in torment, without taking opportunity. And it does take courage to come in and do this work. It does take courage. And one of the things that's been amazing is seeing the courage of other people. It's just wow. Some of the the people I've met have been incredible. But I think it's once you do get that message, then the rest of the messages will follow. And I'm now I get messages every day. I get synchronicities like they're coming out of my ears, and I'm just laughing because it's the universe. It's just like, there you go. It's all you're listening now. So here you are. So that's been amazing, and it's just step by step.
Beautiful.
And I feel that I'm
and I really feel that, like, knowing you and like experiencing you on the carpet in the Leela Life Training, and seeing the places that you go to, and I can't explain. You are like, you're so in your path, like I just feel it, just so feet on the ground. Like you've made these decisions to do this, to change your life, and you're doing it, and you can feel it. I can literally feel it when I hug you, when I see you. It's like, wow, you're like a different.
There's completely different, and there is a power in that. But I think one of the things that is special about this place, and I think there's lots of people doing workshops all over the country. I feel safe, and I think that's the one thing. So in order to sort of do that work, you have to feel safe, and I can't sort of overemphasize the skill of the people here. Although it's very laid back, everybody's chilled, there's lots of fun and laughter. If somebody needs somebody, they're absolutely on it. And I think it's really important, particularly doing this work where you're looking at old emotions and buried stuff. It brings up a lot, but there are people that keep you safe. And the other thing I love is they've all done the work themselves. They've all been through the journey.
They've done it again and again and again, like for a long period of time. They've really committed to it. So which is beautiful, reassuring. Lovely. So I guess, because some people will come to this podcast as well and like not have watched previous ones maybe. So with the Leela Life Training, it's a 7-month program. You come back each month 7 times. You go home, or you live here. You go home, back into the world, back into the family dynamic, or back into the work dynamic, and you continue to do the work. And then you come back, and you meet the family again, the Leela family again. And you're on that journey together. So could you share like what for you have been either the moments on the training or the changes that you've made in your life? Like what feels good for you to share?
So loads of stuff actually. So there was one of the most difficult workshops was the carpet.
So that's the empowerment intensive. I
mean, again, really well held, but you are faced with your truth. And actually, during that particular workshop, I realised I had not resolved the trauma from when I was 16. I realised I'd buried it. I thought I'd done it through just talking therapy and it's done, but it all came back up. So for me, that then set me on the path. So outside of here, I got what I needed, and that work is now done. So, but it gave me the courage to go, I need help with this particular trauma, which I wouldn't have done. I just buried it. So I think that was really, really powerful for me. And I think just the friendships. So I know we're all in a WhatsApp group and we WhatsApp each other all the time. If I was stuck at 4 o'clock in the morning in a terrible state, I could contact any one of those people and they would be there. It's beyond what we see as friendships outside. There's a connection because we've gone through the journey together. We've seen each other in the raw. There's no pretense with us. We've seen each other at our highest and our lowest, and I think there's that bond will always be there, and I think that's something you can't really quantify. It's a magical thing. So I think, you know, in terms of my personal life, there was that, but also just being able to connect more with people. I've just got more confidence. I think, you know, the first couple of times sharing at the end, it's like, oh, it's my turn. Now I'm like, me, I'll share. Yeah, because I've got that confidence, and I know whatever you say, it's accepted. And it's a breath of fresh air from what's outside sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's, you know, because it's not easy, right? Like, it's not easy. We've all come from this very conditioned space of like, I mean, you know, it's, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, all right, not too bad, not too bad, you know. And, you know, you don't want to overshare because whatever reason is, you know, because we've all got different patterns and different ways to that. But when you can really go below the surface, you know, it's like, let's just sit and really chat about deeper things. It's so nourishing, isn't it? You know,
we're sharing. I mean, it's and also just witnessing other people's journeys. You know, and actually seeing them have the courage to do stuff, and sharing your own experiences of healing. Yeah. Because you take something and give something to everybody. Yeah. In terms of that. So totally, you know, we all got to go. Oh, you know. Yeah. Try this or whatever, and it's and everybody's got each other's backs. Yeah,
totally, and we're permission slips, really, because what we're doing when we're going and we're saying those things and sharing those things that are so deep, and often we've kept so deeply entwined, and like, I'm the only person that's feeling this or experiencing this. No one understands. Yeah. And then actually the gift of sharing it out, and then people going, oh my God. You too, wow. Like, and you can, it's like a real visceral feeling, isn't it? Like a drop in the body. Yeah. Is this the same for you, right?
So I used to feel it right here. Yeah. So I used to have like a trauma, if I was triggered, a trauma response where my solar plexus would not, and I would be, whoa. I don't get that anymore. Yeah, wow. Which is, I feel a little flicker. Okay, it's a reminder, but nothing, you know, I can now switch it. Beautiful. Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yeah. So it's that combination of like, being brave and courageous and actually going there, being supported in a safe, held space, and the community that, you know, see, hear and acknowledge you as a person, your story, and become, you know, that the extended family.
Yes,
basically.
Yeah, and it is amazing because, as I say, we went to Butterfield. We met for meals. We were with each other. They were doing all the Osho stuff at Butterfield, which is great actually to get to show what Leela does. Yeah, right. And I joined all of those because I love all of those workshops. Yeah. But it was just really nice. It is that real community. And it's a big community, so it's just like amazing.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because there's core people that stay, but there's also this transient, isn't there? And like, I love anyway about the whole wider spiritual community of like, you know, you go to all these different places and you bump into people from this part, and then somehow they're all weaving in together and building all these connections. And as soon as you take that leap, because I remember like I was very much a lone wolf on my I don't know about you, but spiritual journey was like mindfulness and Vipassana, and it's like I have to do everything myself
in your own head all the time.
I'm really struggling to connect with others because not wanting to show that vulnerability, basically, because it was so hard and too deep. And then the more, you know, taking that leap into it and then going forward into true relating has just been, you know, it's abundant, isn't it?
It's amazing.
You know, you go somewhere, you go to a festival, and then you're just like, wow, you just know those beautiful souls.
And you have the confidence to go into a play anywhere on your own. Yeah. Once you've done this work, it's like, I'll go anywhere, just dance. Yeah. Don't know anybody. I will by the end of it, but it is that thing of, because you're in yourself and you're good in yourself. Yeah. And I think that's
it's powerful, isn't it? Powerful. Yeah, there was somebody actually who did one of the meditations recently, and they'd never danced. They'd never danced sober. It was just such and you just forget, don't you? Once you've done it so many times, you're just like, wow, it's such a thing, isn't it? You know, dancing's a big. And we dance every day here. We dance at 9 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
We've got some rocking DJs, including our lovely Aurora in the background. And it's
awesome.
It
just lifts you.
Yeah.
It just lifts everybody, doesn't it?
It does,
It lifts the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great way to start the day. So, lovely. And so tell me, like, what, when you kind of think about like going forward in your life, and like, because you've already mentioned you've done some training with Bayari.
Yeah. So
Bayari's our she's going to be the co-host of the Mystic Heart Festival. She's our wonderful alchemist and
she's magical
extraordinaire of all things magical.
Yeah. So it's amazing, really, because, and I was talking to Bavo, who's the director as well, about this journey. So when I was 19, I was into tarot. I knew I had a spiritual connection, and then life happened, children, everything happened, and it sort of went on hold, and it's been completely buried. But I met Bayari by chance on the intimacy gathering.
Yeah.
So she was doing a workshop, and I was going to go to a different workshop, and at the last minute I went, I'm going there. Somebody's telling me to go there, and this magical goddess, she is a goddess, she holds such a beautiful space, and we had the most amazing session of healing, and so she's always been in the back of my mind as a really special person. And then angels started appearing in my life. So I was on a workshop in the Isle of Wight, and had a reading from a medium in a shop. I bought this angel, and he just stood and did this reading, and it was freaky. It was so true, and he said, you have an army of angels behind you. I see an angel standing by your shoulder, they're with you. And then 2 weeks later I get this email out of the blue from Bayari saying, I'm training people in Angelic Reiki, and I thought of you. And I went, well, I'm coming. I've been told I need to be there. So I did a beautiful weekend with her in levels 1 and 2 Angelic Reiki, and I have really tuned in to those healing angels, and I've been practicing it with my daughter and a friend, because you need to practice, and they've felt they feel the healing, and particularly with the friend, I said to her, I'm not going to ask you any questions, we'll just have the space, and we did everything. She saw her grandmother visited her during the session. She was like, wow, she was getting blue, I was getting blue, she said, my throat, and it was all this stuff was coming together, and I was a bit freaked out by the power. I'm like, wow, there's this new gift, I've got this new gift, so I'm working slowly with it, but it's definitely something that I want to do as a gift for other people. And really in tune, but it was through here that Bayari appeared in my life and has stayed.
I love it. It's just total. I love it as well, like what you said about that, the moment of when you decide to do something, like I'm going to go here, but there's something calling me here, and it's like, it's like intuition speaking to us, right? And it's like listening to that, and the more we listen to our intuition, the more we kind of connect to that, and we hear it's like for me, I don't know about you, but it's like an inner yes. It's like a strong feeling. It comes through, and it's like yes, go that way.
And exactly. You can't identify what's telling you. You just know. So that was and that's been a beautiful journey. And I think Bavo's doing a workshop around those sorts of gifts in September that I'm going to be doing.
Great. So magic, alchemy, and empowerment.
So it's about that. Acknowledging your gifts and how to use them.
Nice.
So I mean,
watch out.
I mean, if you'd said to me, if you said to me 5 years ago, you'd be healing people with angels.
Wow.
I'd have gone, I'd love to, but I can't see it.
Here I am. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? When you really look back and you look at what you do now and how your life is, and you're like, never could you have ever dreamed that. So it's always interesting as well, because it's like when you think about manifesting your dream life. Yes, it is always different to like it comes about, doesn't it, in certain ways. But it's also you don't actually really know what it is that you need until
And I think we're conditioned to want things.
Yeah.
So it's all this thing around, oh, we need that car, and need to live
Yeah.
here, and need to look like this, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And I've just thrown it all to them, you know, and I'm just doing what I love.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's amazing.
Beautiful. Let's take a breath together. I like to take a breath together. Yeah, so I think we're probably at a good time to nearly wrap up. And we're getting the thumbs up from Aurora. What is that? So I guess, one more question. What if somebody's watching this and they're thinking they want to come to Leela for whatever reason? So you've experienced quite a lot. You've done the intimacy gathering, the Leela Life Training. Have you done the TLC?
No,
you've
not
done
the
the
TLC.
TLC. Is there anything else?
The women's retreat.
Women's retreats.
I'm here on an ecstatic dance festival.
Yeah, we're actually at the beginning of the ecstatic dance festival. It's going crazy downstairs. There's people arriving. It's like loads and hundreds of people arriving. We're up here just so ecstatic dance. We're going to be dancing the next 5 days together, which is great. So many different ways to come to Leela. I guess if someone's watching, and what would you say to them if they've never experienced anything?
So if you've never experienced anything, come to one of the nice workshops where it's all festivals. Actually, they've got a few going on in the summer. So there's Pura Vida, I think, is it that how you pronounce it? Vida. So it's like a party atmosphere, but you can get to know the people, and then you'll see what beautiful people there. You'll see the incredible people that work here, live here, come here, and I think you'll get that sense of community. I mean, if you've got a calling, you're ready to do some work. If, like me, you were told something said to you, get off your backside and go and do this healing work. Then I can't. The life training is amazing. And you can dip in and do some of the life training workshops, so you don't have to sign up to the whole thing. You could just do a weekend, see how you feel. I can almost guarantee you'll be back. Almost guarantee you'll be back. It's it is like a second home. To me, and the people are my friends and my extended family.
Beautiful. Well, it's lovely to have you here.
To be here.
And thank you so much for coming and just sharing this conversation. And I feel like I've got to know you a little bit more as well. Can we end on a hug?
I was just going to say.
Should we? I don't know how we can do this so that the camera. Maybe we'll do like a sitting. We normally do a standing hug.
We'll do a tantra gum.
Oh, you did a tantra experience.
Which is amazing.
So hand on the lower back and the upper back, and usually doing it standing, and just breathing together. Love you, strawberry.
We say that a lot as well.
Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, if you're interested if you've never seen Leela before and this is the first podcast you've come across, feel free to check out our website. Everything is on there. We also have Facebook, Instagram. Follow our stories as well, especially when events are on. We're always kind of taking snippets of what's going on. And we're also, if you want to talk to anybody about the programs that's available, that's also possible. So just get in contact with the office. I'll put all the details in the show notes. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon. Thank you so much.